So the teams are out for the first Rugby Championship match for 2018. I'll put them in the description so you guys can look at kind of the full lineups. But Bledisloe Cup Rugby Championship, it's not far away now. Both teams have been named. Had a quick run through. There's a few kind of interesting choices here on both sides, some kind of predictable ones. And yeah, having a quick look at the history. Last 5 games, All Blacks have won 4 out of the 5. Pretty comfortably when you look at the overall kind of numbers. They've had the Wallabies kind of number for a while now. Average score 34 to the All Blacks, 21 to the Wallabies. So not that close in terms of numbers, but what makes it a little bit more interesting is the fact that that one game that the Wallabies got of the last 5, it was the most recent one. So puts that a little bit of seed of doubt. These guys have done it before in that Wallabies camp. They know what it is like to beat the All Blacks, so it's not kind of that mission impossible feeling for them. They're at home. Steve Hansen has been talking up the Wallabies' chances, kind of loosely saying that they are favourites because they won the last one. Not sure we go that far, Steve. I know they try and kind of play it a bit cool and not talk themselves up, but that's probably taking it a step too far. When you look at the bookies' odds for this one, they've got the All Blacks winning by at least 12 points. So either Steve knows something we don't, or he wouldn't make a very good bookmaker. Looking at the competition between these two teams last year, I mean, that game in Dunedin was close. The Wallabies probably should have won that game, but the All Blacks kind of broke their hearts at the death. And like I said, that one in Brisbane that the Wallabies won. So I mean, Steve's right in that there should be kind of confidence running high on the Wallabies side. But in saying that, you are playing the All Blacks, who have got a pretty good squad. All Blacks picks are largely predictable. All this talk about Richie Mo'unga was never going to beat out Beauden Barrett. He is named at 10. Damian McKenzie is on the bench. I feel like, barring a miracle, that's pretty much going to be the way it goes. Richie might be lucky to get a game or 2 in the Rugby Championship. So it's just going to be Beauden, I would say. He's had World Player of the Year. They're kind of working on the philosophy that he's our #1 guy. We're going to keep playing with him rather than kind of we have a World Cup next year. And if you get injured, break your leg before the World Cup starts, we don't have anybody who's played regularly in the #10 jersey for the All Blacks. But hey, All Blacks management know what they're doing. So yeah, Beauden starts, D-Max on the bench. Interesting selection in the midfield, and that is the Crusaders midfield of Kurtley and Goodhue. Goodhue only having played that one game for the All Blacks. I've kind of said this in the comments as well. There are times when I think he's ordinary and just playing for a really good team. I've said the same about George Bridge. And then he'll do something that really is impressive. And I'll think, no, he is very good. So we'll see how he goes in the 13 jersey against the Wallabies. He's only had that one crack against the French where he wasn't terrible. I believe he let in a try. He was okay. Didn't set the world alight. But yeah, it's another chance for him to impress like he does for the Crusaders. I'm pretty happy that Ben Smith gets a shot at 15 because that is his best position. All too often the All Blacks put him on the wing because they want to get him in the team, but they want somebody else at fullback. So Bender gets the job at 15. I'm pretty happy. That does mean no Geordie Barrett. But if that means I get to see Ben Smith at 15, I'm not going to be complaining. For the Wallabies, Tatafu Polota-Nau is the starting hooker. Interesting one in June is that there was no Stephen Moore, no Polota-Nau. Who was going to be the hooker? It was Paanga Mosa, it was Latu. Latu is on the bench for this one, so they've still gone with the experience of Tatafu Polota-Nau. And Latu, just with his impact from the bench, seems like the logical choice if you're going to pick Tatafu. He's kind of the logical backup pretty much to anyone. Just because he does seem to be a more dynamic player when he comes on with that limited time left. Tui is going to be in the loose forward trio with Hooper and Pocock. So I guess he's been picked because he brings something quite different from those two guys. Hodge at 13 is another interesting one. So you've got Goodhue with 1 test cap at 13 against Hodge, who has played for the Wallabies before, but never at 13. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup to see which one of these guys can kind of get the edge in the midfield. With Kurtley inside, maybe you give the advantage there, but I mean, Beale is no slouch. He is a creative genius, so it'll be an interesting matchup. Dane Haylett-Petty is on the right wing, Interestingly, Maddox has got the nod on the bench, so there's no Tom Banks, which is disappointing because he's Mr. Lightning. But Maddox, he can play fullback, he can play on the wings. I mean, I've heard him touted at 10 potentially, but that's more of a future thing. I can't see him getting any game time at 10 against the All Blacks. But yeah, like I said, the bookies are saying All Blacks by 12. You guys have a look at the teams in the description. Tell me what you think of the squads. I believe Tu'ungafasi is heading back to New Zealand with a rib cartilage injury, so he's not considered. It is Perry who's going to be on the bench there. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of the squads. How do you think the game's going to go? And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.